Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Russ Riesinger.
And I'm Jeanelle Slade. Tonight, a closer look at the massive storm that recently struck north central Montana with a bullseye on Shepherd and its schools.
That hailstorm that tore through the region, damaging homes and vehicles and destroying crops, now also impacting some local students.
We'll have that story in just a moment, but first, some breaking news tonight. A warning for all of our viewers in Huntley, Worden, and Ballantyne. Health
officials now telling all consumers of the Worden, Ballantyne, Yellowstone County Water District to not drink tap water, only bottled water. High nitrate levels were initially detected in May, which triggered a warning for infants 6 months old and younger to avoid tap water. Well, today that warning expands to all users because the state now believes an unknown surface water source has contaminated the water and current disinfection and chlorine treatment strategies are not working.
Now, experts say boiling water will also not work to disinfect the water. Bottled water is available at the district's office at 2449 Main Street in Worden. And a public meeting is set for 6 p.m. Monday, August 26 at the Huntley Project High School. State environmental officials, county officials, and the Water District's engineering firm will be on hand to answer questions.
The hailstorm that ripped through the region over a week ago did some major damage in Shepherd, especially to its schools.
In fact, with school set to start tomorrow, the district is working to shore up its classrooms. Today, we sent Q2's Zoe Zandora to Shepherd to show us the damage, the progress, and the impact on students.
We're not starting kindergarten and first grade till Friday now, just because my mantra is clean, safe, and dry. And we're getting there today, but those teachers still need time to set up their classrooms.
Shepherd Schools, a centerpiece of a community that weathered a storm of 20 minutes of 70-mile-per-hour winds and baseball-sized hail, causing damage to windows, rooftops, and air conditioning units, costing upwards of $2 million.
We're dealing with the immediate damage to get kids back in the building, but this will be a 3-stage process. Probably take a year to 18 months.
All of the room's windows are boarded up, even double boarded with insulation in between. Carpet is still being pulled up and replaced, but the superintendent of Shepherd Schools, Scott Carter, says they hope to have carpet and windows in by Christmas. Both the Shepherd Elementary and High School have a nearly $12 million bond measure on the ballot for the 2019 September election. Carter says the damage from the storm should not affect that, but the bond is still very much needed.
That bond is huge. We drag food through the snow. We have a library in a 1950s building.
Carter says where the damage done from the storm and the bond set on the ballot intersect really is, do they put the money back into the buildings?
Do I fix up the kindergarten building that's condemned? Or do we wait and see if the bond passes?
The support from the community, Carter says, has been amazing.
This is an amazing community. We are Shepherd. And we're going to get through this, and we're going to help each other all the way through it.
In Shepherd, Zoe Zandora, MTN News.
All right, thank you, Zoe.
Well, today, Billings teachers and school officials rallied together preparing for the next school year.
Superintendent Greg Upham and Q2's A Better You segment reporter Joey Trawick took to the stage at Metro Park to motivate and rev the teachers up for the upcoming school year. Self-care was the focus of the event, encouraging the teachers to stay healthy and take care of themselves throughout the entire school year. Trawick was a motivational speaker focusing on diet and simple things the teachers can do, like cutting out added sugars from their meals.
Now, Aaron Evans, a health and PE teacher at Highland and McKinley School, says it's all about getting up and getting motivated throughout the year.
Greg Upham brought that in last year with the self-care and has really just pushed that for the employees. You know, it's important for our students to have stability and have us there, so taking care of ourselves first is definitely that first step for our children's success.
Classes for School District 2 start on Thursday.
A woman killed when hit by a demolition derby car on Sunday night in Deer Lodge is now identified. Powell County authorities say 36-year-old Daryl Lynn Day of Anaconda died in the crash. Day was an emergency medical technician who was actually on duty with Powell County EMS at the time. Day was one of 7 people hit by a car taking part in that derby at the Tri-County Fair.
Yellowstone National Park officials say the man seen walking dangerously close to Old Faithful on Saturday escaped without being arrested. You can see how close the man walked to Old Faithful Geyser in this cell phone video. Park staff followed the man as he left the geyser, but he disappeared into the crowded parking lot. By the time a park ranger arrived, he'd already left the area.
Well, voters in Billings will soon choose who will represent them on the Billings City Council. The primary election to whittle the field happens September 10th.
But about 11,000 voters in Ward 3 will not receive primary ballots. Q2's Mitch Leahy standing by with the reason for that. Mitch?
Russ and Jeanelle, voters in Ward 3 won't receive a primary ballot because there isn't any need. There are only 2 candidates running for the council seat, so they will automatically advance to the general election. Ward 3 is represented on this map in orange. The area roughly runs through the center of Billings, south of Rimrock Road to about Briarwood. Matthew Melvin didn't file the proper paperwork with the Commissioner of Political Practices and was removed from the race. This leaves Danny Chiriki and Aldo Rowe to battle it out in Ward 3. For the rest of the 50,000 Billings voters, ballots will be sent out this Friday. And if you drop off if you drop off ballots for other people, here's a reminder of a relatively new piece of paperwork that you'll have to fill out.
Now, if you're dropping a ballot off other than your own, you do have to sign a registry down at the Yellowstone County Courthouse, or you can print it off online, fill it out before you drop it off. If you're just dropping your own off, that's okay, but anybody else's, even if it's your spouse, a parent, a child, you do have to fill out the form.
Rutherford added that one person may only drop off 6 ballots from other people, and there's still time to register to vote. You'll just have to go down to the Yellowstone County Courthouse and do it in person. Janelle?
All right, thanks, Mitch. Well, also in Billings City Council news tonight, candidates vying to represent Wards 1 and 2 will hold an open forum this evening. Starting at 6:30, candidates will make themselves available at the Alliance Resource Center in the Billings Heights. It's an opportunity to ask questions and see where candidates stand on the issues that you care about.
Montana's 3 major statewide political races for 2020 already have crowded fields, but as MTN's Mike Dennison reports, those fields may not yet be complete.
In the race for Montana governor next year, we already have at least 6 people running. The top Republicans in this contest are Attorney General Tim Fox, Congressman Greg Gianforte, and State Senator Al Olszewski. On the Democratic side, we have Lieutenant Governor Mike Cooney, former state legislator Riley Neal of Livingston, and House Minority Leader Casey Schreiner of Great Falls. But MTN News has learned that another Democrat is giving the race a look. Whitney Williams, a consultant from Missoula and the daughter of former Montana Congressman Pat Williams and former state senator Carol Williams. Whitney Williams confirmed Tuesday that she's considering running for governor, but says she hasn't made a decision. Early this month, an extensive telephone poll asked Montanans a series of questions about Williams and Gianforte, testing messages both for and against each candidate in the governor's race. For example, the poll referred to Williams as a businesswoman and a capitalist and said she believes the best way to help people is by creating job opportunities. It asked those polled if this information would be convincing in persuading voters. It also tested anti-Williams messages, such as whether voters would be troubled by her past work for former presidential candidate Hillary Clinton. Montana's 2020 U.S. Senate race has 3 Democrats already in the mix as possible challengers to Republican incumbent Steve Daines, outdoor writer Jack Ballard, Helena Mayor Wilmot Collins, and U.S. Navy veteran John Muse. But MTN News has learned that at least 1 and possibly more Democratic candidates are considering whether to enter this race. One of them is a state district judge, but we couldn't reach these candidates directly or confirm their possible interest in the race. One other person is often mentioned when people talk about the U.S. Senate race, Democratic Governor Steve Bullock, who's running for president. But Bullock has made it quite clear, when it comes to the Senate race, he's not interested. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Our candidates for 2020 don't start officially filing until next January.
Well, there's more news from across our state on tonight's MTN 9 o'clock news. Here's a look ahead. I'm Andrea Lutz. A new era coming to the Burt Mooney Airport in Butte as the old terminal is coming down in an effort to make way for new development. We'll have that story tonight on the MTN 9 o'clock news on the CW.
But first, still to come on tonight's 5:30 news, we'll preview a documentary that chronicles some health concerns of living near oil and gas drilling.
And in sports, take a look at 9-year-old trick rider Piper Ewell. Scott shows us how Q2's Athlete of the Week does it.
And coming up in the weather, it's true we might see some rainfall moving in tonight, but that won't be the only thing falling later on this week. We'll tell you all about it coming up in just a few more minutes.
You're watching MTN News with Janelle Slade and Russ Riesinger. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green. This is the 530 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.